Maria Rivas, and today we have a guest speaker. Her name's Jecca Steinberg, and we are going to be hearing more about her story. More specifically, we're going to ask her questions about where she's from, what her background is, her pathway to professional or graduate school, and why she made that choice. And then also what she's passionate about and dedicated to professionally and also personally. So Jecca, thank you very much for joining us today this morning. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll ask you the first question. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, so that our members can get to know you a little bit better.
Well, hi, my name is Jecca, and I'm a first-year medical student here at Stanford. I'm in Palo Alto right now. You can't tell by my room, but and I'm originally from Massachusetts. And then I did my undergrad in Houston, Texas at Rice University. And I'm kind of a non-traditional grad student in that I took 3 years off between graduating from my undergrad and entering medical school. In that time, I worked in Houston, Texas in the 5th Ward of Houston, which is a low-income community there. And I pursued a master's in epidemiology. I guess that's a little bit as a summary of my trajectory. I'm really passionate about community health and using health as a mechanism to serve underserved communities in the United States.
Great. And I'm curious to learn a little bit more about what was it about, or what helped you to decide that you should take those 3 years off, and it sounds like you really ended up doing some other really neat work. So what was it about when you were going through undergrad that sort of led you down this path?
What led me down this path and to decide to take the time off, I think primarily I was just a little bit exhausted, and I wasn't totally sure what I wanted. And I thought to myself that if I'm going to enter a career, and especially something like medical school, which then leads to residency and leads to life as a doctor, that this would be my opportunity to explore something outside of that. And if I'm going to be a doctor till I'm hopefully in my 70s or 80s, so 50 plus years, that it was worth taking 2 or 3 years to do something totally different and really expand my horizons and kind of indulge in whatever makes me most passionate before committing to such a long trajectory.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing. So let's see here. I think you kind of already touched upon this, but if you have anything else to add, if you want to tell us about your path to college and professional school. So some of our members will be high school students who will be preparing for colleges. Some of the other members will also be college students who will be getting ready for professional or graduate school. So if you want to touch a little bit upon maybe college and then some maybe additional towards medical school.
Yeah, sure. So would you like me to speak about high school at all, or just college and towards my medical school application?
If you could touch a little bit upon going from high school to college, like maybe a little bit about what you did in high school to get you to the college that you went to, and then if you want to expand more about going from a college over to medical school.
Yeah, sure. So in high school, I think what's interesting is high schools in the U.S. all offer very different opportunities and different environments. So I guess what was most useful for me, I went to a public high school in Northampton, Massachusetts, and what really kind of set me on the right path towards going to college was trying to find things that I was really passionate about. So while I was in high school, I was president of the Gay Straight Alliance, which might now be called the GLBTQA or something else at our high school, and that made a huge impact on me. It was right around when Massachusetts made gay marriage legal, and for my standpoint at the time, like in high school, I worked really hard outside of school at a job to kind of pay for my life, and then also pursued interests in school. But the most important thing I think that put me on the right path towards college and gave me substantial things to write about in my college essays was pursuing things that I was very passionate about, even back then. So whatever, I guess if that were to translate to other schools, if you're passionate about helping others or about human rights or about civic advocacy, just find a mechanism to do that. And one of the things I think that was most influential at that point was finding teachers who really supported me and working with them to pursue those activities. So we had some really, really great mentors, and they helped me build opportunities for myself to pursue the things that I really loved.
And now in high school, did you end up doing like one extracurricular activity that you were just completely devoted to, or did you end up doing like 5 or 6 extracurricular activities during high school?
So I was definitely guilty of stretching myself a little too thin between
Okay.
activities. So, and I would probably recommend against that. Spend more time doing what you care about. But that's something I'm still working on now. And so aside from the Gay Straight Alliance, I was also I played high school tennis. What else? I did a lot of theater, and I was also part of a volunteer group that would do a lot of volunteer work over the summer, especially. So I guess not too thin, but definitely pursued different things. And I think one opportunity that's really wonderful in high school that you don't get as much in college is playing high school sports. You can be so physically active and really get your body and your mind into the mindset of exercising regularly. Because once you leave high school and you don't have those teams that you can participate in, it's easy to fall off the exercise train.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And is there anything else? So thank you very much for sharing this. I think it's going to really help our high school members. Is there anything that you want to add to going from college to professional school? You already talked a little bit about the transition. Is there anything else that you want to add to that about your path?
Sure. I think this applies to both high school and college. I think the biggest influence on me in college, besides kind of really trying to listen to what I felt positive doing and what I felt passionate about, was having really incredible mentors. So I would advise to everyone, if you have a professor you like, if you have a teacher you like, if you have a person who's in some sort of leadership position at your school that you really like, to ask them if they want to grab coffee, talk to them, tell them about what you're passionate about, because the investment that that professors and teachers made in me made it possible for me to go from one step to the other, and helped me figure out what my dreams actually were. So talking to them really gave me a different perspective, and I think that was probably the most influential thing, that if I hadn't had those mentors, I wouldn't have proceeded so smoothly from one school to the next.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we're going to go on to the next question. And the next question is, what did you do to prepare yourself to have a strong application package for professional school, for medical school in your case?
This is a great question. I think it's something a lot of people struggle with. My main thought, and this was something that was really, as I said, influenced by my mentors, was I think the first step before deciding what professional school you want to go to is to figure out, what do you really love doing? Like, what gives you energy? If you are pursuing an activity and it makes you feel really, really great, what could that mean in a career form? And I found myself, I worked as an EMT in undergrad and pursued a lot of volunteer activities. And I just found myself feeling so energized and so positive during those moments. That it really, and I've always loved science. So all of those things together kind of pointed towards medicine. And to prepare for the application process, I would really pay attention to what makes you feel passionate, because that's what people want to read about. And that's what comes across in essays as authentic and as unique. So when you're having an experience that's really meaningful to you, write down a few notes about it. This was meaningful to me. This is why, and this is what I learned from it. And kind of keeping mental track of all my activities that I was truly passionate about set me up really well to write those difficult essays and trudge through the long application process.
Okay. All right. So the next question is, and you've already touched upon this, but why medical school? What made you choose this profession versus, dentistry, optometry, pharmacy, nursing, PA school?
That's a great question. Those are all really excellent options. I think for me, as I was going through high school and in college, the people who were my heroes repeatedly, and the people who I met who I thought, wow, I would really love to do something the way they're doing it, were all physicians. And so for me, and I'm particularly passionate about working in maternal and child health. So my biggest debate was between being maybe a nurse practitioner and a physician. Both position, from both professional positions, you can have a huge impact on maternal and child health. And ultimately, I decided on medical school. And I think I probably would have been happy as a nurse practitioner as well. But I thought medical school was the right fit for me, and it felt like the best step.
Okay, right on. The next question is, what do you see as your purpose in life?
Wow, so that's a heavy duty one. I would say I feel like the purpose that I aspire to, and the purpose that I kind of try and align my behavior with, and my action and my choices is, I feel like in my life I've been given a lot of opportunities and a lot of privilege. I'm very, very fortunate, and because of that, I feel an inherent obligation to use that to serve others. So all of my career choices, choosing medicine, choosing to hopefully become a pediatrician, or it all aligns with the idea of what will allow me to impact the communities that I want to serve in the most meaningful way, and create opportunities for socioeconomic mobility for those who are maybe not given the same opportunities at birth that I was given. So I think my purpose in life is to use all of the wonderful things and wonderful people and wonderful opportunities I've had to try and make the world a better place in a really concrete and sustainable way.
That sounds beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Jecca.
Thanks.
The next question is, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? Can you describe some of the actionable steps that you will take to get there?
Mm-hmm. So I'm not totally decided on my specialty yet, but I know I want to work in maternal and child health and work in underserved communities. So in 5 to 10 years, I'll be either in residency or out of residency. But I will be doing my best to fulfill the requirements for the position. Okay, in 5 years, I'll be doing my best to fulfill the requirements for the position. And in 10 years, I hope to be working in a clinic that serves underserved communities and doing research on the best ways to use health as a mechanism to serve those communities, whether that be via health policy or interventions the physician can do, improving accessibility of healthcare for low-income populations, any of the above. And I think the most tangible step that I'm doing to kind of set myself up for that right now is I found really wonderful professors, Dr. Lisa Chamberlain and Dr. Janine Bruce here at Stanford, who are both using their careers to serve young populations and are combining education and pediatrics to make a real impact on the low-income populations here surrounding Palo Alto. So working with them, I'm learning an incredible amount, but I'm also, in each step along the way in medical school, I'll be doing a little bit of that work that I hope to do in the long run. So doing research projects and pursuing it in any way possible.
Okay, that sounds very beautiful. One last question. So we've touched upon various things about your story that led you to where you are today now at the Stanford School of Medicine. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your story with our members?
I guess I've already hit on this a little bit, but if there's anything else I would share, it would just be that in each moment, like, think about the people who inspire you and why they inspire you, and how maybe you could work to be similar to them, or work to inspire others the way they inspire you. I know it's Mother's Day today, but my biggest inspiration is definitely my mom. She's a nurse, and she's an inspiration for a number of reasons. But when I when the days are long and you're studying long hours and preparing for tests that you don't want to take, I think recognizing that the people who you look up to also took those steps, and that it's not, there's a bigger picture than the kind of there's a bigger picture to what you want to do. That's what really kind of keeps me chipper and also motivates me to work hard on the parts that are a little bit less fun.
All right, sounds good. Well, Jecca, thank you so much for this first segment on your story. We are going to take a little break, and then we'll come back to part 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.